So originally, I wasn't going to make a video on this game. I was just gonna play it, beat it, and then move on to the next thing. But I just finished Donkey Kong Bonanza a few days ago, and after seeing what I did in the last few hours of the game, I had decided then and there that no, I am absolutely making a video on this game because it is deserving of a video where I talk about this game and just share with you guys my experience and kind of all of my thoughts and feelings about it. So that is what I'm doing right here. I don't know how much the interest for this game is still there in terms of how many people are like searching up people's thoughts and reviews about the game, but I still want to talk about it, and I hope that this video does reach a decent amount of people still. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza is the latest big first-party Nintendo game that is out on the next generation Nintendo Switch 2, and a lot of people have been talking about it. The game has actually gotten really good reviews as well, lots of high scores, but I finally had the chance to play through the entire game myself and beat it, and I gotta ask the question, is it really worth the hype? And I'm just gonna tell you right now, after playing this game for over 30 hours, this game definitely has the potential to be one of those special games that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life, easily a Game of the Year contender, and I could see this honestly being one of those amazing games, probably one of the best games for the entire Nintendo Switch 2 generation. Now this video is going to be spoiler free. I'm not going to be talking about any of the big surprises and things that are hidden inside of it because I truly feel like it's worth discovering that for yourself and really just having that one of a kind experience as you see everything unfold. So I'm not going to be talking about that inside of this. I'm just going to be going over a lot of the aspects of the game, how I feel about them, and I'm also going to be making a lot of comparisons to Super Mario Odyssey, but we're not doing it in the sense of like putting the games against each other like we're fighting with them, but more so because the developers behind Super Mario Odyssey are the same people who worked on Donkey Kong Bonanza. You can definitely see a lot of Super Mario Odyssey's DNA inside of this game, and because of that I feel like it's definitely much easier to kind of compare the similarities and differences between them. But at the end of the day, they're both amazing games and they're still both kind of very different from each other, so you shouldn't really be looking at them like, oh, this is just Super Mario Odyssey but better, or Super Mario Odyssey but worse, or anything like that, because while they are both platformers, they are still kind of very different in their approaches. But let's start with the premise, because I actually feel like the premise of this game is somewhat interesting, and usually for a Nintendo platformer, you're not going to be getting like some super deep, complex story or anything like that, and that's to be expected because it's just going to be a platformer at the end of the day. But when we saw something like Super Mario Odyssey, it's just your typical Bowser capturing Peach, and in Mario Odyssey specifically, he wanted to marry Peach, but inside of this game, there's actually a little bit more layers, no pun intended, but essentially, you're inside of the planet inside of this game where you're kind of going through all of these different layers of the planet and trying to reach the planet's core. So you've got your main character, obviously Donkey Kong, and then you've got Pauline, who is basically accompanying you, and she also wants to get back to the surface as you're trapped inside of the planet, and you have to be going deeper and deeper all the way down to the planet core, where it's said that your wishes can be granted and everything that you want will come true. And so that is their ultimate goal that they want to get to in order to return back to the surface. And so it's still pretty simple, but I did find the idea of it to be much more interesting because you're kind of going deeper and deeper into the planet, the terrains are getting harder, and I think it's just cool to kind of think of it like that, and also kind of just seeing everything unfold as you get deeper, and then really that climactic finale that approaches when you get to that planet core. But kind of going off of that, let's talk a little bit about the visuals, because the actual visual presentation of this game is so good too, still having like that cartoony art style that Nintendo is known for. Because the game isn't hyper realistic, it still looks really good, and it's one of those games that's going to age extremely well, even like 20-30 years down the line. If you play this game, it's still going to look really good. Having access to more power with the Nintendo Switch 2, you've got much sharper character models, the visuals look really good, the environments are highly detailed, really good textures and everything too. So I was honestly a really big fan, and especially just as you get deeper into the layers and just seeing how creative they can get with the area design and just how cool everything can look, especially also with like the really epic fights that happen too. Like you can definitely see the spectacle with all the particle effects and everything. The visual presentation of this game is really, really good. But of course, the most important thing when it comes to a game like this is the gameplay, and I gotta be completely honest with you guys, the gameplay of Donkey Kong Bonanza might actually be some of the best 3D platforming gameplay I have ever seen, and easily some of the best gameplay that Nintendo has designed in one of their first-party titles. And really just picking up the controller for the first time and playing as Donkey Kong, the thing that I noticed immediately is that he's actually really fun to play. I think I kind of got the vision in my head that, well, Donkey Kong is a pretty big character, he's kind of like heavyweight, he's going to be a little bit sluggish and slow probably, and he's probably just going to hit really hard with the punches, but I was completely wrong. Like, he's actually really fast to move, you can be doing like these really cool rolls, you can be terrain surfing, like there's a lot of cool things that you can do to still be moving really fast, and he feels just as nimble as Mario does in Super Mario Odyssey, which really surprised me. And just like in Super Mario Odyssey where you're collecting these power moons for the entire game, the big collectible for this game is something known as Banandium gems. These are like the really big collectible that are like scattered all around the different layers and the different areas of Donkey Kong Bonanza. You get them for defeating bosses and things too, so this is really the big thing that you're kind of after. And I gotta say, I'm actually really happy with the approach that they took for the gameplay with the Banandium gems, because they actually have a really big benefit, which is there's an entire skill tree inside of this game, and for every 5 Banandium gems you collect, you unlock 1 skill point, and you're gonna need certain amounts of skill points to be able to upgrade your character further. And that is something that I feel like Super Mario Odyssey was completely lacking, because while there is like so many like hundreds of moons that are inside of that game, there was never really an incentive to try to collect as many as you can unless you're just a completionist and you really wanted to try to get every single one of them. But in this game, the more Banandium gems you have, the more skill points you're going to have, and with having more skill points, you're going to be able to unlock newer abilities and different things that you can have for Donkey Kong, and that aspect just made the game so much fun, because there were so many times where I was like, you know what, I'm just 3 gems away from being able to unlock this new ability or get an extra heart of life or something, might as well go out of my way and just try to find those gems. So I think that that aspect really makes the game so much more fun, because I feel like if I just tried to rush as much as I could to try to get to the end of the game as fast as possible, I probably would have finished this game maybe like 8 or 9 hours earlier, but it's really because I spent so much time doing these extra things for Banandium gems that it actually added more to my overall playtime. And these Banandium gems are really just scattered all around the world. Some of them are kind of just in plain sight and you get them by getting to a new area or doing a story boss or something like that. Some of them are hidden in secret areas like behind a waterfall or underground or something, and you can even get them from doing certain missions where you can have like a battle challenge where you can try to beat a certain amount of enemies within a time limit, or a challenge course where it's going to be like a tricky level where there's going to be like up to 3 that are hidden inside of it and you have to try to find all of them. So it's really good. I like the different methods that they have of getting them, and they're not like super easy, but they're not also super difficult either. Now, I mentioned that you can punch underground, and that's really kind of one of the big things about this game is how pretty much everything can almost be destroyed, and you can really kind of just keep digging underground and try to discover new things that way. But one of the things that you're going to notice right away once you get this game is when I first started the game in Ingot Isle, I was like trying to dig through everything as much as I can, destroying all the walls, destroying all the ground, and trying to get pretty much every single thing. But it's really just after getting through that area and then getting to the lagoon layer, which is the next one, I started to realize that's not the point of this game. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to try to really just destroy every single layer, every single thing, and level it completely if you try to play through like that with every single layer. But the whole aspect of it is that that's a different way of playing the game, where there are things that are going to be hidden underground, and digging is also going to be an aspect that you're going to have to use in a lot of kind of ways while you're kind of just traversing through the areas, where sometimes you'll maybe see like a couple of lasers that are going to be just pointing in the ground, and they're also going to be above you so you can't jump, but the solution is going to be you're going to have to dig underneath them and just get through the lasers that way. So I think that that aspect of it is pretty unique. But really the big gameplay thing about this game is of course the Bonanza powers. This is like the main gimmick of this game, where essentially you're gonna have these Bonanza powers where Donkey Kong is gonna be able to transform, and they already talked about a few of them inside of the Donkey Kong Direct, so those are gonna be the ones that I'm gonna be talking to you guys about inside of this video. So we know, for example, there is a Kong Bananza where basically you just become like a really bigger and more powerful Donkey Kong that can smash through like concrete and stuff. But there's also a Zebra Bonanza where you can run through kind of objects that are going to be crumbling like ice and stuff, where it would usually break if you walk as Donkey Kong, but you can run past them really fast. There's even an Ostrich Bonanza where you can kind of glide through areas and glide over lava and stuff, so it's really cool. There's even some other ones that the game doesn't really kind of spoil in terms of trailers and stuff, so I'm not going to be mentioning those inside of this, but these are really kind of like the main abilities that you have, and you can freely switch between them. So it's really cool because when you get like kind of really deep into the gameplay after unlocking more of these, you're going to be able to do some really really cool combos where you have like a zebra and then you turn into the ostrich to get higher up and stuff, and like it's really fun once you get all of these. And it honestly kind of makes the first trailer of the game look really misleading, because there's honestly a lot of people, I'm sure, that saw the first trailer for this game and thought that the whole game was just kind of punching around and mindlessly kind of mashing and stuff, and that's not really what the game is about. And these Bananza powers are really kind of what the cool aspect of this game is, but they were not in the first trailer at all, and maybe because of that leaving a bad impression for you, you never even tried to like look into the Donkey Kong Direct or anything. But this is really kind of the cool aspect of this game. The music inside of this game is really good too. I don't know if I would put it up there as like one of my favorite soundtracks ever inside of a Nintendo game, but it is very solid. It has like a very kind of distinct Mario kind of feel to it, but it's also very Donkey Kong style too, so I really liked it. The actual sound design, not even just the music, but the sound design of like smashing through like the different environments and stuff, that's actually really well done. Like, I honestly feel like maybe that's even deserving of an award on its own. Like, I think the Game Awards does have like a best sound design or sound architecture or some type of award like that. I honestly feel like this game is very much deserving of that, because there's a lot of really good sound effects for the different types of terrain you have to break and all the different kind of things that you have to do inside of this game. So yeah, just the overall audio design of this game was very well done. But now when it comes to the things that I don't like about this game, there's really just 3 things, and none of these are so bad that it like ruins the game or anything, and honestly 2 of these could even be potentially patched or fixed one day. And yeah, really the first thing is that unfortunately, this game does have frame rate issues and FPS drops. Now I will say, it is not the majority of the game that is like this. For 95% of Donkey Kong Bananza, it runs buttery smooth 60 FPS, and it has very nice high resolution and everything looks really good, but there are some cases, especially during some of the boss fights, that you're gonna notice that the game just gets really stuttery, it starts chugging, it slows down a little bit, and it just doesn't really feel that good, and it can impact the gameplay too, because you're not gonna be able to do like your movements as smoothly, and because of that, you might end up getting hurt a little bit and things that aren't really gonna feel as responsive. So it does kind of suck in that aspect, but I will say the game is not like this. It's just a little bit weird, because like you would think like with a big single player game like the first one on a next generation system that you're releasing, you probably wouldn't have like issues like this right away. But like I said, it's not a majority of the game, and it's possible that this could even be patched and maybe they can make this a little bit better in the future. The second thing is that there's no way for you to be able to reset your skill tree, as a lot of games that have skill trees or like a flowchart with different branching options for different abilities and things to unlock, usually they have a thing where like if you hover over them, you can turn it off and then be able to get your points back so that you can put them towards something else. And sometimes there's even an option to like reset the entire thing and make it blank again and then just use all of your points differently. I kind of wish that Donkey Kong Bananza has something like that too. There's a few times where I remember like spending my skill points on an ability that turned out to be a waste, or one that I didn't really feel like I needed right away, and I kind of wish that I invested into like more health or something else instead, but there's no way for you to be able to go back and like redo it or anything. So in this game for right now, it's like as soon as you spend your skill points on one thing, that is it, like that is your final decision. So maybe in like a patch or an update they can give that option where you can get like your skill points back and then use them on something else. I think that would be really nice. And then really the last thing, the bosses inside of this game, in my opinion, weren't really super memorable. Like, there's not really a lot of bosses where you're really going to be remembering them for a very long time. And even like right now, like even just having beaten the game very recently, like if you told me right now, like what was the boss in like sub-layer like 8000 or something, I can't tell you, because I genuinely don't remember. Like some of them I kind of remember like what they were like, but there's not really a lot that are going to be super memorable that you're really going to be talking about for like the next 10 to 15 years, because there's just not really a lot of things like that inside of this game. And it's a little bit unfortunate, but there are some exceptions. And of course the biggest one, I know a lot of you are thinking it, the final boss fight in this game might just be one of the best kind of finales I have ever seen in a Nintendo game. Like, I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not going to tell you what it is, what happens, how it goes, what the ending is, but I would just say the ending sequence of this game, really just kind of the last like 3 hours, might be some of the most fun I had playing any Nintendo first party game. Like, I was actually clapping by the end of this game as to how much fun and enjoyable it was. It was done pretty much almost perfectly. Like, I enjoyed every second of it. So obviously that aspect is extremely memorable, and I'm going to be talking about that and probably remembering that for the rest of my life. But yeah, some of the other bosses, I just feel like they weren't the best. But anyway, wrapping up everything here, Donkey Kong Bonanza is easily one of the best Nintendo games I have ever played. This is going to be one of those games everybody is going to remember who has played it and beaten it, and it is definitely worth getting, because I will say, even this, as like somebody who's not really like a super big Donkey Kong fan, I'm not somebody who grew up playing like the SNES games or anything like that, so I don't even have like a ton of like Donkey Kong bias or anything, but I just love this game playing it as like a fan of Nintendo games and Nintendo platformers. And I think in that aspect the game delivered so well too. It just shows that the 3D Mario team is just capable of making extremely amazing games like this, and they really know what they're doing. And that's the thing, is like this game is a return to 3D Donkey Kong after so many years, and just the way that they do it and everything is just so well done. And I definitely recommend this, even if you're not somebody who is a big Donkey Kong fan like me. Like, I'm not a big one either, and I ended up having so much fun with this game, and I could not be more glad that I actually decided to play it and beat it. So yeah, I will say for sure, definitely recommend this game. It is definitely one of those games you want to have on your Nintendo Switch 2 for sure, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way as well. But yeah, that is pretty much everything I have to say about Donkey Kong Bonanza. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well. I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about Nintendo, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you think about all of this. How do you feel about Donkey Kong Bonanza? Did you already beat the game? How do you rank it? Did you have a lot of fun with it? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about this, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.